Alright, we did a little system restart. Had a little tinkle. And I was thinking, if it still doesn't behave itself, there's another way I can do this. Okay, I have seen something similar to this once before. I'm trying to think, what was it? It was somewhere in... I think it was an early Unity 6 bug, actually. And it was somewhere in my PC, my AI assistant. I've noticed something similar to this actually once before, where code had just stopped running. So weird. Yeah, I have seen this before, actually. I assumed it was a Unity 6 bug. It might be a Unity 6 bug. Yeah, I think this is a Unity 6 bug. I think this is a bug. A Unity bug. Because I have actually seen something similar to this before. It's very bizarre. Okay, let me back up my project. Because if I put this, like if I was to downgrade this, which I don't want to do, but if I was to downgrade it to a different version of Unity, like earlier than 6, I'm pretty sure the bug goes away. We don't need the 12th. I'll just back it up. There's something that we can do to try and fix it. I'm kind of worried about this though, because if it's a Unity bug, then who knows how many workarounds I'm going to need to implement to frickin' get around it, and who knows how much worse it's going to get. Right? Am I backing up the right project here? Did I do Unity game or am I doing Winter Games? I'm doing Winter Games, aren't I? Yeah, I think I am. I just went into Unity game by mistake. So I'm going to delete the library folder and let it rebuild the library. There's also like Unity cache stuff. Edit preferences, go to GI cache tab, and then click clean cache. No, there's somewhere you're wrong. You're wrong. Somewhere in application data. Here we go. Jesus, that's a lot of data. 8 gigabytes. Oh, fuck off. Do I not have to take ownership shortcut on here? I thought I did. Oh my god. Shut up. No, there's a way to run. There's a way to make a little script that lets you add context menu tutorial. Here we go. Shut up. Shut up! Do step 2, add step 3, add... Where's fucking step 1? Windows 11, you need to click tap on show more options by default, then tap on take ownership. Wait, so it might be there already, because I'm sure I added this. Show more options. Let's just download random registry entries. Oh wow. Now I've used this before though, to be fair. Besides, everything's already fucking broken. Go on in. Yes. Okay. Added the registry values. Now what? Add take ownership with pause to context menu. Another reg. Edit. What did the other one do then? Just like fucking like, why can't we just use our computers? How about that? Like, how about Microsoft just gets out of my ass and lets me use my own fucking computer? How about that? Then we wouldn't have to do all this shit. I assume the one I just downloaded was... Oh, take on... Okay, so there's add take ownership to context menu. This one is add take ownership with pause to context menu. With pause? What do you mean? There it is. Yeah, this is the one. I might want to save that file actually, because I don't want to find it again and I don't risk getting a dodgy version at some point in the future. Stick it in my rebar. There we go, I've got it now. Never need it again. Fuck off. What are you doing in my fucking tray anyway? Get the fuck out of here. Bitch. Jesus, how much trash have you stored on my computer, Unity? Oh, I love fixing other people's broken shit. It's so fun. Are we done? Are you still busy? Are we done? I think it's done. It's probably Bitcoin mining now. Open in another program. Try now. I swear to God, if you see you're opening another program now. Yes. Yay. All that to delete a folder on your drive. It's great, isn't it? Oh my God. I just did. I took ownership of it. For fuck's sake, what do you want from me? This is so ridiculous. Just do caches for now. Cache and caches. Can you do those? Eight gigabytes, just like, oh, we're just gonna take over 8 gigabytes of your drive without any control over it. It's 2 DVDs worth of data. On what, Unity? Ah. Alright. Now when we load our game, it should rebuild the cache, rebuild the library. Might take a while, but I don't know what else to try. There is another way I can work around it and I can get it to do it. We could put a public function in the setup script and then have the cloud client call that public function when it's ready and see if it works in that direction. But like, it should just work, right? We could also run the system clean from this. I've been avoiding it lately though because this actually wipes out useful audio registry entries, which I have to fix with... Shut up. K-Lite codec pack, which actually breaks my iClone audio, but I don't need iClone audio right now. I suppose it's probably not a registry entry that's doing it anywhere, I wouldn't have thought. Let's see, unless we can figure out which one it is that it thinks is 3 entries. BlueStacks, change tracker, WoW 6432, node nemu. System drivers, 16 entries. Yeah, these are probably the ones that I need for iClone. Okay, so I can probably get rid of the top ones and not the bottom ones then. How about that? Okay, we're in our project. It didn't take as long as I thought it would actually. What happens when we run? It still won't work. Great. Okay, so we're going to have to do it the other way then. Hopefully it'll work that way. This has got to be a Unity bug, I swear to God. It has to be. So here, where we set ready for true, so instead of await cloud, it clearly doesn't like that. I'm actually going to take the ability for it to run coroutines out completely. Instead, we'll make a public void, which we'll say show menu. It's kind of what we're doing. None of this trash. And then we just go ahead and do what we need to do. Then, oh, you bitch, you took it out. In our cloud code, when we set is ready to true, we don't even need the is ready variable anymore. It might be useful for other scripts to use it if they ever work again. So now I need to link that to the cloud. So we need a public setup link, and then we can say, where is it? You know, set up show menu from here and do it in that direction instead and see if it's happy with that. At least cloud knows when it's ready, right? And it doesn't need to rely on something else reading that. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, that variable is redundant now. I should just get rid of it. I'm just going to get rid of it. I also need to do it there as well. Alright, let's try now. What a fucking joke. Okay, it worked. Wait, is that what that wasn't what it was doing before? It was stuck on the thing, wasn't it? But it didn't close enough. It would actually, I think I linked the wrong spinner, that's why. yeah, what I basically did is I linked the wrong thing. So in setup, where's my setup? Instead of linking the parent of the spinner, I only linked the spinner animation. So I need to close. Where the fuck is spinner? I think it's right at the top. Okay. Yeah, it should have. I should have linked await cloud. So, because I like to be consistent, let me actually just change the name of that. Otherwise, I'll be getting confused about what is meant to be linked. Okay. All right. Good God, what did that cost me? Didn't that cost me like an hour and a half or something? And there you go. Now we're in, right? And it knows that we can continue because it knows we're a returning player. So isn't that interesting? Oh, that's kind of scary though, right? So we deleted 8 GB of Unity cache, rebuilt the entire library, and it still has a valid token for us to log in anonymously. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. This kind of good, but like at the same time, like okay, well, what else is it fucking? What else is inaccessible to me that I can't delete? God only knows. But okay, whatever. So now we can automatically detect whether they're a returning player or a new player. We automatically select continue for them, so when they press play they can continue their progress. Here, if they switch to new game now, we should probably come up with a prompt that says, warning, you will lose existing progress. Are you sure you want to start a new game? Which we can do. Alright, so we're finally getting somewhere. Yeah, that seems fine, right? It does look weird though because yeah, I forgot that we show the logos. Okay, that's even better then. So basically, what I do need this on though, don't I? This would be on by default normally. Wait, because I used to see the logos, but I didn't see this. So maybe maybe the animation for the logos was turning this off, but it's not just this. It's not just this that would be on. Yeah, the only thing about that is it seems weird to me that it says connecting and then we get the logo and then we get the interface. I don't like it. I'd rather we see the logo because what we can do if we change the order of that, we can be doing all this play stuff in the background while the logos are showing up. And so for 99.9% of use cases, we won't even see that connecting screen. For the 0.1% of the time when people are having internet issues or whatever and it's actually struggling to connect, then they'll see the logos and then they'll see it attempting to connect. We probably need some kind of fallback as well that says, fail to connect or synchronize if it does fail to. that would be here, right? So where I say so then all we do is we put a retry in, right? So hang on, where is that? Cloud. So here we should probably have a screen that says, you know, failed to connect, and then a little retry button. Yeah, but first... So it's really weird. So what happens if I turn that off now? Does that disappear? Yeah, so everything works the way I want it to. I guess all I would do... Do I have a start script? Is it part of setup? I have no idea. I think it's part of the animator, isn't it? What does the animator actually do? Yeah, animator sets... So animator sets setup to true. Ah, this is why I wish I'd set it up differently now. If I knew I was going to put this much nesting into it, I would have structured that differently. So what we could do then instead, I think this is the way it should be set up, and then what we can do. Okay, but again, we can't. This is the problem, right? I don't trust setup now. Because what I should probably do is tell setup when it opens that if Unity Gaming Services hasn't finished loading data yet, rather than show this menu, this is when we enable this. But this is the problem that I just had for the last hour and a half, is the bool value is... Well, the code wasn't running, but that was in a coroutine, so maybe it'll be different. We can code it, but I don't know if it'll work or not. But we would basically say if system cloud... I got rid of isReady. I need that again now. Oh, bollocks. Fine, we'll put it back in. Because it worked so well last time. Fuck off. Here we wouldn't show a menu because we should put some code. Like I say, we should put some kind of display for if it does fail to connect. But the thing is, it's a web game. It's kind of weird, right? Because like it's a freaking web game. So if their internet falls off, I would imagine the whole game would just come grinding to a halt anyway. So does this code even continue to run? Having said that, I tested it, right? And here's the weird part, right? On Chrome, at least, Chrome like caches the entire game on your fucking drive, so you can actually be disconnected from the internet, and as long as it's loaded the game like once or whatever, it will actually let you play the game offline, which is kind of nuts. Because I think it just caches it. What is my error now? What are you complaining about now? I probably left something half typed in setup. Yeah, I did. So that would be our line of code there. Actually, I don't know when this loads though. Does this load after the logos? God damn it, I really don't know. I assume the animator disables it on frame 1. But I think start runs regardless because it was enabled in the editor. Let's find out. Yeah, so it reaches the end of start before we even see the first logo. But what happened if I just turn this off then? The animator's going to turn it on anyway. We got a null reference on setup. Oh. Yeah, because we tried to call setup show menu, but I guess setup was inactive. But we can call public voids on disabled game objects anyway. So unless Cloud lost reference to setup, which it didn't, I don't know why we would get a null reference. Oh, I do. Okay, it's because system cloud. Oh, fucking hell! It's because start didn't run. Because start didn't run, and this got triggered before start ran. We didn't have reference to system. How can I know if start ran or not? Oh, for fuck's sake, this is so insane. So now I need a private bool init as in initialized equals false. So did this script initialize? Init equals true. Then here we can say if init, if didn't initialize, then start. Because this can now be called publicly from an external script, meaning it didn't get chance to go through its start routine. Because what happens first, which is what I was hoping would happen, is player services gets done before the logos even finish. Yeah, that's working great. Perfect. Okay, so that was confusing, right? But basically what I did is I disabled my setup script in the editor so that the animator does what it does and plays the logos first. Player services goes and loads player data. Why did we get 2 end of starts though? That would suggest that start ran twice. Oh, so start. Oh, okay, that's fine. We can fix that. We can just say if not initialized, then do this. Otherwise, we run start twice. Not that it probably doesn't matter, but it's just, you know, better not to run it twice. There we go. That way, it doesn't matter how we come into start. We only become initialized when we reach the end of start. Whether we're called publicly from here or whether we're enabled and start automatically runs through Unity, we only initialize if we're uninitialized. So now what happens is the logos play data is loaded in the background. By the time the logos are finished playing, everything's ready to go and we're in here and it's just seamless. If we're not, then we will load the connection window to let the player know that it's still connecting. But like, like I said, 99.9% of the time, unless there's some weird issue. Probably never ever see it. Right. Another thing we could do, because again, it's a web game, right? So how about this? How about I don't create a retry button, and I don't create a screen that says, oh, I couldn't find, I couldn't connect to Unity Gaming Services. Oops. There seems to be an issue. We just do this. Right, so this is an on enable already. We probably shouldn't set is ready to false here anymore though, because I've got an idea. So instead, here's what I'll do. Is if we are unable to connect to Unity Gaming Services and we land in this exception, what we'll do is we'll say setup retry connection this dot game object set active to false, and then in setup I need a public void retry connection, and we'll just automatically retry. So for this I'm going to do a public void retry connection. What are you typing? Type what I type, you little bitch. Fucking hell. Right. Setup does not contain a definition for a retry connection. Okay, good. I was going to say, yes, it does. Look closer. How about you use your eyes, Microsoft? How about that? Right. Retry connection. Ideally, I was trying to avoid coroutines in here because we haven't had much luck with them so far. But we kind of need to wait a little bit. Because if we do it straight away, it probably won't. Although we could... No, you know what? We could... Now we'll just retry immediately. We can do that. Because I'll just say... I need the game object. So I can just say system. Now again, I have to be careful because we could be coming... So again, I need to do this if initialized. If not initialized, then start. Make sure that we initialize first. Otherwise it won't know what system is and we'll get a null reference. So we can say system cloud game object set active to false and then set it active to true, and that should re-enable the script because we did it as an on enable, and it will retry the connection. So what will happen is if it fails to connect, it'll just keep retrying forever and ever and ever and ever until it finally succeeds. In theory. I would disable my internet connection and demonstrate that and we could test it, but I'm streaming, so if I do that, then I lose the stream as well, obviously. So this is something I'm going to need to test off stream later on. But yeah, that should work. So if it fails to connect for whatever reason and it doesn't get the player data, it will just keep retrying infinitely. And this should be set up so that when it's time to show this menu, if connection wasn't successful and it's still trying for whatever reason, we get the connection spinning circle to show that it's still trying to connect. And I think that should be fine. honestly. Okay, so I need a screen that says, if you start a new game, you will lose existing progress. Are you sure you want to start a new game? You know those annoying screens that everybody hits? Yeah, we need one. Preferably with that voice over as well. Are you sure you want to start a new game? Let's get one with a button on it, because... I need 2 buttons, but I can use that as 1 button and then make another one from that. Okay, we'll use the gamepad help then as a template. Beep. Turn that one off. So I'm just gonna call it confirm new. And the title I'll say overwrite game data. You currently have saved game data which you will lose. Are you sure you want to start a new game and lose currently saved progress? Okay. I think there's a script on this one. Where the hell am I? Well. Okay, I accidentally closed it. Okay. So now I need to teach setup about the confirm new object. It should be off by default. And now we need references to, Jesus, tons of shit in here now. Right, these aren't select buttons, so they don't have borders. And we only really give a shit about their buttons, actually. So that's good. So we'll put it after a count, because that's the order that we declared the objects in. So it just keeps things consistent. So we have button, new yes, and button, new no. And that's all we really need is listeners for those. So let's declare them. Button, new yes, button, new no, and we'll add click new yes, click new no. Let's make some click new yes and no's. Let's put it after accounts because, again, consistency. Click new yes. Click new no. Yes, that was smooth as silk. Beautiful. Smoothest thing I've ever done. Right. Click smooth. Click smooth. What the hell? Don't click smooth. I like it rough. Please don't click that. Okay. Button click yes. What do we do? So this is where we can decide to start a new game. So this is where things get a little bit hairy. So I don't know, like, so far I've actually avoided using like bools and stuff, like, which makes things easier because then you can just say, you know what I mean, new game, true or false or whatever, right? And it just makes things easy. But because this is getting kind of, I mean, we could make them private variables, I guess. I don't know. It's like I can already tell by looking at the interface elements, basically. So I think I'm just going to use the interface elements. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, they've already clicked yes. Yeah, I don't need to. I'm trying to think how this works. Right. So how this works. We don't really need to do anything if it's a new game. We only need to do stuff if we're loading save status and applying it. So really, this is the easiest one to code because essentially we just say, okay, well, in that case, we won't load your saved data then. And then all new progress checkpoints will overwrite the previous ones, right? So it's fine. So it sounds counterintuitive because it's like, oh, you're going to need to do all kinds of stuff to make a new, fresh game. But no, actually, we just let the game play in the order, the way it plays now, basically. So I don't really need to do anything. I think I just need to say, we already highlighted that button when the user clicked it, so it's already reflected in the UI. So we can literally just say new confirm or whatever we called it. What did we call it? Confirm new. Close that window. That's all we need to do, literally. And we just let the game play in the order that it plays in now. It's the same for this, really. All we do when we click new no is close the window, but I'll also highlight the other option for them to say that they actually want to continue instead. So essentially, where's our... We could actually just call the function, couldn't we? Click continue. There we go. So then we'll click load. Now at the moment, like, we're not really doing anything other than visually updating the UI. Nothing actually happens when we try to load a game because we don't have a system yet to load progression, really. But once we do, now everything should be wired up so that we can just say, okay, here's what to do when it's a loaded game. Go and load all these values and apply them. Okay, so that should be all we need to do for that. So we can test that, because like I said, nothing really happens. This is all just visual for now. Did I leave the window open? No. Why did I get a... Oh, did I forget to link my buttons? I probably did. Yeah, I forgot to link my buttons. Okay, I always forget to link things. So confirm new, button yes, button no. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're still being logged in as UID number 4. So it thinks we've got saved data because we're not a new, so this isn't our first login basically. So now if I say new game, it should. Ah, hang on. No, I didn't wire that up yet. Yeah, I didn't actually wire that up yet. Okay. So here we can say if system cloud, it's not the first login, then confirm new, set active to true. Hold on. So we're logged in, UID 4, continue. If I have the goal to click new game, it's going to be like, are you sure? And then we can say no, should put it back to continue. But if I say yes, all it will do is highlight new game and say, okay, when you hit play, it's all gone. So you still have a moment to like reconsider. So that's great. That's perfect. So all I need to do is put some code now when, you know, it's on play to basically say, if this one is highlighted, we need to actually grab play data and start applying things from play data. So that is what we'll move on to now. It's taken us hours to get here, but we needed the interface first, kind of. Yeah, so we already displayed the warning, and then that would be a new game, and it asks you to select your character because it's a new game. Okay, so let's go through in order, right? What's the first thing we actually get to decide as a player? Well, the first thing we actually decide as a player is what character we want. So this needs to be saved as a key in player data. So we have our cloud script which pulls key pairs from the server. We need now a system that keeps track of data that needs to be stored as keys in this script here. Okay, I'm trying to think what I should call it. Really, it's kind of part of this cloud system in a way, because this is like cloud data. So I think I'll just stick it on this object. We'll make a net script for it. Okay, so I'm going to call it I'll call it save pairs, I think. Hola, Tommy. Save pairs. Okay. Now, what is the easiest way to do this? Well, I've made a new script. If I'd say play character, I have a key val that lets me store a key and a value as a pair. So if I use this key val script, it should be serializable as well, actually. I thought it was serializable. Oh god, itchy nose. Sorry. How did Jibbity show me how to do it? System.serializable. Okay. System.serializable. No. Now, there's a few ways we can go about doing this. We could do them as like CSVs, right? A CSV is a comma separated value, but you don't need to use the comma. You could use any delimiter as a value, as a separator. So what that typically means is if you want to save more than one. So for example, the most basic way we could do this is we could save a key called pdata for player data as an example. And the value could be something like player character number, comma, I don't know, best friend value, comma, and then, I don't know, player name, goose turnip, position, right, which might be like, this is why we couldn't use commas, but 0.0, comma, 1.0, comma, 100, whatever. So that's why we probably wouldn't use commas, right? But you could use hashes, for example. Hash is a good one to use. And then you just basically split it at the hash. And then you know that index 0 is player character, 1 is this, blah, blah. But the downside of this is we have to update all of this data in one swoop, and it always needs to be in the same order, right? So if the player wants to, so if this is player position, for example, if the player, I don't know, we're not going to update their position on every frame or anything, but maybe that's a bad example. Let's say the player changes their name, right, to Nipple Defender or whatever, right? Then rather than just update this value here, we have to write the entire string again, right? So the nice thing about key pairs is we could literally have player name as a key and then Nipple Defender. That sounds like such a good name for a game, Nipple Defender. I think I might make that at some point. I'll probably make that one off stream though, to be completely honest with you. I don't get banned. I mean, it's basically Nikke, isn't it? It's basically Snowbreak and Nikke and a lot of the gacha games out there. So I don't think it would be really that different from what we already have. So it's up to us how we do this, basically. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. The advantage of key pairs is we could have every single field, and it makes it easier to see. I think I might do it this way, but also there are limitations, right? So if we read Unity's documentation on this, right? I think it's pretty big though, but there are limitations, right? I want documentation. Here we go. Player data has a limit of 2,000 key value pairs. Now, we're not making freaking Grand Theft Snowball 56 or anything, so I don't think we'd need that many anyway. But it is worth noting that we do have a limit of 2,000. These are per player. And then I think there's like a limit of like, it says 5 megabytes per access class. I'm not sure what that means per access class. Oh, so access classes is like default data and public data and protected data. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's make this as simple as we can. So I think player character is 1. And probably it makes sense to keep things simple and give the key name the name of the game object, right? So these are actually the keys that we're storing. And then we can see them at a glance as well, right? So the first thing that we get is player character. Then we get a list of opponents, right? Now, opponents is going to need to work differently. Opponents needs to work a bit more like this. Because what opponents does is it reorders the list of characters to say what order the player's going to face opponents in. And it just so happens that the final opponent, whoever gets picked as the final opponent, becomes the player's best friend. So we can infer the player's best friend by looking at the opponent's list. But for shortcut purposes, I've made like a local variable for that in the game, but we could certainly inherit that from this list, right? So it's probably worth mapping out here what our data structure needs to look like. So we want player character, which stores value int character index opponents. So because we can't really store a list, but it is a list of ints character indexes. So we'll do this as CSV or something similar. Now, really, also, we might want to consider like encrypting player data if we want to like avoid hackers and cheaters or privacy concerns or whatever. But again, for this, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to do it raw. I'm just going to go raw dog. We're just going to do this one raw dog, all right? Just the way Unity like it. Right, okay. Player character, opponents. What else might we need? We just play the game and see what sort of things we need to... I think position is another one. I want to record the player's position. So we'll do... In position, we will store both position and rotation as strings, essentially. Again, sort of CSV style. We'll separate those out. So we can restore the player's position and rotation. Right. Objectives. We need to break it down as much as we can. So the way my objective system works is whatever is the top objective in this list becomes like the active objective. So essentially what we need to do is delete whichever objectives the player has completed. So in order to do that, we could simply store an index, which is an integer of the objective number that the player is essentially up to, and then we make sure the game goes in and like basically restores that condition of which objectives are completed. So we definitely need one for objectives. Why did I do it like that? Okay, so we can store the objective index. We have side content such as missing snowmen and city targets. So missing snowmen and city targets would need to contain a list of targets that have currently been hit and need to be removed from the list of targets, and missing snowmen that have been found and need to be removed from the list of missing snowmen, because they work similar to the objective system, except we can't, except the objectives are linear, which is why we can store an index. But these are non-linear, meaning they could be completed in any order at all, right? So we can't just store an index because we don't know which ones. We don't know that all the ones that came before. We don't know what came before it, right? So okay, we need basically a targets. So I will call these city targets, and I will call these missing snowmen. Could actually program this key val script to actually inherit its key. We could program it to. Well, what we'll do. How about this? This is a really good idea, actually. It's just for sanity checking. In void awake, we'll just say if key does not equal this dot name debug.log warning, key and object name mismatch. For this dot name. There we go. Can't get much better than that. And then if I happen to make a mistake, something doesn't match up, we'll get warned about it in the debug.log, which is nice. Missing snowmen. Okay, so we've got player character, the list of opponents and what order they're faced in, player position and rotation, the current objective that the player's currently up to, the list of city targets that the player has hit, the list of missing snowmen that the player has collected. And that should be enough for now. Everything that's in the game as for right now can be restored and loaded and saved using those key pairs. I'm sure there will be more. There are some other silly little things like if I wanted to, I could. Like there are a few things, right? Like so there's we might also want to store. I think that's probably not a bad idea actually. Player settings. Okay, let's make one called game settings. And then game settings. Jesus Christ. Just basically CSV data also, right? It's going to be a list of things like control scheme and sensitivity settings and just shit like that, right? That they shouldn't have to set each and every time they go into the game. Objective, city targets, missing snowmen. So city targets, Jesus Christ. City targets val is a CSV of target indexes. CSV. Missing snowman. List of snowman indexes. CSV. Alright. It's probably worth saving this in our game data folder. Well, these are save pairs, aren't they? Save pairs.txt, that's fine. Right, does that add up then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay. So now what we can do is go through and find where these values need to be set and stored. We might want to make it so that this might be a good idea, actually. I don't know. Because I'm liking the way... Good morning, Alexandria. How are you? I'm liking the way my game at the moment does a lot of shit just by enabling game objects. So I'm wondering if we should do the same with these. So basically when a key pair is enabled, it basically saves its data contained within and uploads itself to the server. That's not a bad idea, actually. I think that's a good idea. But there's one thing I need to check first. If I disable them, I think I already know the answer. So save pairs needs to now get these children. So let's make sure that it can do that whilst they're disabled. Before I go any further, how are you today? System collections. Generic. So we want a public list of key vals, which is save pairs. I'll give it a capital S because the class is save pairs as well, right? So we need that. And what we'll do is we'll set a root, public transform pairs root, and then on enable I can say for each transform child in pairs root save pairs add child.getComponent key val. It doesn't like that. Oh, it's because it's capital S. There we go. Alright, we'll make sure that works first. Good, just waiting to go buy some dinner. It's snowing today. It's been a bit nippy here, but nothing close to snow. But yeah, working on this. It feels like it's, you know, I think I'm just so deep in this game right now. I'm like, that sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar? Probably because I'm working in a game that's snowing all the time. But I'm like, no, it hasn't snowed here, has it? But I had to convince myself that it hadn't snowed here. And I think it's because I'm working on this this game. So the pairs root is basically itself. Yeah, really, I don't even need that. I could just say this dot transform. And then I don't need to declare that at all. I think that's better. It's cleaner. You're buying dinner. I was going to say you're buying something fun at least. It's not like boring. I hate like shopping because it's weird how different that is, isn't it? When you need to like go out and buy like, I don't know, cabbages and turnips and windowline and, you know, all the essentials, it's like, but at the same time, if you're going out and buying like, I don't know, Christmas gifts and fun things, and it's so much more fun. But yeah, if you're going to get dinner, that's fun. I like dinner. I like dinner. I like food. All right. Did it work? Let me check. Yes, we found 7 key pairs. So we've got game settings, player character, opponent's position, objectives, city targets, and missing snowmen. Beautiful. Now I just need to make sure that, well, I don't need to make sure of anything actually. I can just edit the script to say void awake, void on enable, and what void on enable will do is, oh my god, if I can type it. And then I'll make it so that when the script is enabled, it basically updates whatever values are contained within and uploads them to the server, and we save it against player data. So in order to pull that off, I need my cloud system to have a public function. So it's basically, so when we save UID, we do it like this, right? So this is a good template to use. So we want a template that takes in a key from a key pair. So we could use a string. I think keys have to be strings. So if I do string key, then this becomes key, and then string. And just to make things simple, we'll just store everything as strings because we can always convert them into integers if we want to anyway. And then we'll just say string val. So that becomes a val. And we'll say key. Val. Okay. Okay, so now we have a public async task, which I need to give a new name. Save. It needs to end in async, I think. It's because it's weird like that. Let's just do save pair. It's really a pair. Save pair async. Okay. It's my first time trying Spicy Wing since my teeth surgery. Oh yeah. Are you feeling better? And then buying Starlink because fuck dial-up internet. Oh, Starlink, Musk. Oh my god. So is that decent then? I did have a look at it here, but like, it was only really recommended for like I think it would be good for like people who are paying too much for their internet because I think because there was a monopoly on internet over here until very recently. That's why I changed providers in January. So it was only January of this year. Oh, it might have been December of last year. It was around then. I'm basically they're owned by Amazon, so they're called UFiber. They're owned by Amazon, and before that, it was like a company. It's what who used to be Comcast, but now they're like Virgin Media. Richard Branson. So now there are like two, so they're kind of like competing against each other. So my internet's quite cheap right now. Current internet is only 3 MB and $100 a month. Holy shit, that is insane. That is ridiculous. Yeah, well, mine's like 25 quid a month now. I was paying about 35 with the other company, 35, 40. So I have a feeling their price is going to be cheaper now as well. So it's so good to see competition in the market. And it's almost as good. In some ways, it's better. In other ways, it seems slightly less reliable. But I don't know. Like, I mean, I've had it now for like about a year, and I've only had a few glitches here and there. Probably about the same as I would have with the other one, to be honest. So it's about the same, but it's like half the price basically, and the speed's about the same. Probably a bit faster actually overall. So yeah. Down the road a few miles at my trailer, I got 1,000 down, 100 up for $100 a month. Yeah, this is the problem. Once a company has a monopoly, they just can charge whatever they want, can't they? So bad. Okay, so we basically send this function a key and a value. So in our script here now, we can say when enabled, we can say get component in parent. So this is on cloud. We can say cloud. Yes. Get component in parent cloud. And then we can say cloud save pair async. I might need to await. Can we await in a non-enable? And then we need to give it a key and a value. So we've got our key and our value right here. Okay, await operator can only be used within an async method. Consider making this method with the async. So we should be able to just make it an async void on enable. There we go. Hee hee. Oh, that's cool. And then we need to disable ourselves so that we can say, so that we can be ready to be re-enabled again when it needs to be saved yet again. So that's literally all we have to do. So now we can put anything we want as a key and a value pair, and we can test if this is working super easy as well. We put anything we want as a key and a value pair in here. As these objects become active, they will speak to Unity Gaming Services, upload the player data, synchronize with the player and everything else. And it's like, mwah, beautiful. Awesome. And what we can also do now is when we load those key pairs at the start, when we log in as the player, we should go and find, you know, relevant things. There aren't any at the moment, but there will be. We should find these keys that exist and then update these values, right? So obviously we don't lose any data associated with the player. So it's synchronized basically. We always want a copy of what is on the server needs to be a copy locally on our client so that we don't get confused about what the values are supposed to be or what the data is supposed to be at any given time. Oh, I'm gonna put my shoes on. I'm not sure when I took them off. Oh. Yeah, if I don't wear shoes, I always feel like less productive for some reason. And I think it's because all the years I was in work, I'm obviously forced to wear shoes. Like those Chinese women. Can I say that? Well, they did. They used to bind their feet and stuff, didn't they? It wasn't that bad, but, you know, I think subconsciously my feet are like, okay, it's work time now because we've got our toes clamped with some big Hoof clobbers. Okay, I just checked it's $500 to install, but I literally have to do it. Got to stream again and starting to sell art. What, $500 to install? Oh shit. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But I suppose like it'll pay for itself in 5 months, I guess, or start paying for itself. Well, no. No, what am I talking about? It's not how it works. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. All right, let's give it a little run. Worth it to me even right now. Your stream is pixel like Minecraft because internet sucks. Yeah, and I've got to be in good internet. I've always got to have good internet, otherwise I'd be completely lost. Right, so should we give it a test? I think we should give it a test. So in game settings, let's see if this works. So we're logged in. UID is 4. There we are. I like her. She's one of my faves. She's cute. Okay. So let's say in game settings, we want booby mode equals true as an example. All right, in there. And if we activate this now, will it work? We didn't see anything in debug, did we? Why did that not work? Can you not have an async void? Oh, because I put it in awake. I'm an idiot. Oh, look at that. That's why it's not working. I put the on enable inside the awake. Oh, why isn't it working? Okay, that's a relief. I thought my amazing idea was going to be a non-idea. We've already run into a Unity bug today that's like, it just was not running code. I've seen that happen before. I think there's a Unity 6 bug somewhere. I've seen that in my AI as well. So there's still a bit of a glitch with Unity 6 somewhere. But I managed to find a workaround. Okay, let's have Iron Mouse. Okay, so game settings. Booby mode equals extra bouncy. Let's see if that works. Saved player data in game settings. All right, and it tells us what it saved. So if we check our cloud dashboard now, I'm not logged in right now, am I? Oh, that's a help page on dashboard. No, just take me to the dashboard, goddammit. I'm already signed in. I should be. Okay, winter games, player management. I'm starting with an 8. There I am. 8 or AM. Uji Mabuji Boo Boo Boo. Okay. Where's my data? Where? What? Why am I in economy? I don't know why I'm in economy. Why did it take me to economy? I'm so confused. Where's player data? Cloud save. Okay, there we go. Player data. There it is. Game settings. Booby mode equals extra bouncy. Come on, baby. This is great. This is going to work so well. So cool. All right, we're going to hop off and go get dressed. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. It's really sad when a friend asks you to play a game and you have to tell them you might next week because the download update will take 24 hours. Oh, this is what I was talking about yesterday as well, right? So Wuthering Waves, I downloaded 23 gigabytes yesterday morning. And then later that night, just like a few hours before it was meant to be finished, it downloaded another 23 gigabytes, so they must have updated it again. But this time the 23 gigabytes took about 2 hours to unzip. It just kept saying like extracting, do not close the window, and it was really struggling for like 2 hours. So I've never seen it take so long. Then I open it, it pulls in another like 600 megabytes, asks me to restart it again. Restart it again, it pulls like another couple of gigabytes through the thing. Then it starts compiling shaders, and it takes like 20 minutes to compile shaders. I'm not even joking. This is it's so ridiculous. Then it finally got in last night, and I lost the 50-50 and didn't even get the freaking character, so I just uninstalled. I'm like, I'm done. I'm freaking done. The game was struggling to run anyway. Like, it was jittering all over the place after all that. It was ridiculous. Hi, Cabby, and sorry for the delay. Haven't you already been in today? I'm pretty sure you have. Alright, so that is working beautifully. We can delete that because it was just a test. So we know we can save our keys successfully against player data now. So that's fine. Yep, so we are winning. We are completely winning. Our household's Wi-Fi dropped out just before I came back to the stream, but I've sorted that out now. You sounds like your Wi-Fi is dropping out all the time. I can't believe how good this aim is now. It's so good. I'm so glad I took the time to calibrate it like I did. This feels really good, just walking down the street and hitting all the targets like this. You don't even have to be exact with it, as long as you're like, okay, that one missed. It's actually crazy how good this aim is now. Definitely getting better at all this shit. What the hell's going on there? Why does that look like that? Something weird going on with the double-sided shader. That was where the thing was weird though, wasn't it? I wonder if that... Oh, I think it's my new bloom effect. I think my new bloom effect doesn't like double-sided shaders very much. Yeah. We might look at that sometime and see if we can make it look better. I like the new bloom though, it looks good. It almost like doubles as like an anti-aliasing as well. It looks smooths edges out really nice. If you can name Wars 1.4, I would call it the Nightmare update since they added more endgame but no new region. That makes it a nightmare. It's a nightmare game anyway. It's just... you know I never really liked that game that much anyway. I did like the new character. Yoo-hoo, but... I guess I won't know about the other one, the new one. Since they don't want me to have it. No fun allowed. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know how many things it said. Oh, there's one over there, I think. I'm sure I saw one. I might have got them all for all I know. I just wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, we should update that actually. Oh, there's one. Oh, I'm hitting my mouse by mistake. There's one more left. One more left to get. I think I see it. I think it's that one. Is that one? That's not that one. Oh, I don't know where it is. Huh. Oh, is that it? I bet it's that one over there. No, I got that one as well. Yeah, it's feeling really good. It's feeling really good so far, this game. I gotta admit. Yeah, they don't want me to have it too since unless I spend the same amount of wishes as the last time, which a free-to-play player like me can't afford that before the next update. Yeah, don't spend. You don't need it. She'll get a rerun at some point. At the very least, just, you know, see how close you can get. Maybe do the cheaper things like the Battle Pass and the... I don't know if you already have them. The Battle Pass and the Daily... There it is, I found it. The Battle Pass and the Daily Gem Pass are normally good values, right? So maybe just get those. Keep grinding it if you really want to. And then wait and see how close you are on the last day, and then at least you can spend the minimum amount in order to get it then. But I wouldn't even recommend that, to be honest. The game's easy anyway, like you can clear the content. It's just 4 more, it's just stupid. Alright, so we could try these targets. Since I'm having fun hitting these targets. The problem is... Okay, here's how we do it. Here's how we do it. So if we go to our target tracker, at least I have a guaranteed 5-star now when I want to use it up. I guess. I think those 50/50 should be banned. I think they're ridiculous. Right. So this is when we complete a target, right? We show the number complete, the original count, targets hit, blah 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 blah. So what we need to do here, and we need a good way of accessing our cloud structure, right? Well, we've already got it. It's in System Cloud, isn't it? Okay. But Cloud itself doesn't know about the data structure. And we also need to know what index we're working with. Let me think about how to do this. Okay, so we can link save pairs to cloud. So what we can do in our target tracker... Okay, we can't do it here because we don't know which one was removed. The problem is the target script itself removes itself. Oh, this is a bit of a bastard. Okay, I'm going to save this list to private because I know that target removes itself directly from the list. There we go. Which I don't want it to do that anymore. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say we're going to call a public function where we send the target to target tracker. And then we don't need to do this clunky ass thing either. So we don't need last count. So instead what we can do, we can make this a public void. Target hit, send it a target, and we're going to say targets remove target, and then back in our script we're going to say tracker remove, hang on, is it not saved? Oh, hit target, wasn't it? Target hit this. There we go. So now what will happen is we'll come into this method here. We have a reference here to which target was hit. And we already have access to system, don't we? We don't have access to system. So let's do an access to system. So we need a private system, and on awake, system equals game object find core get component system. Okay, and then here we can say, right, this is where we have to be really, really careful. Right, so in order to save player data, here's what we have to do. We need to save pairs, get pairs, which equals system cloud it wants to call it key value pairs. Is that correct? It's on cloud. Save pairs. We should have had a reference to save pairs though, right? Hide in inspector. Oh, I forgot to say public. That's why. Yeah, I thought that was weird. Right, save pairs. There we go. Right, so now we have a grip on save pairs, which is get pairs. So what we need to do now is we need to define we need to update the value of the key value pair for this particular data set. But we also need to make sure that any existing data that currently exists is retained. So what we can do is we can say get pairs, save pairs at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dot value equals itself plus some kind of delimiter. We can use CSV for this, plus the index of the current target. Oh, so we need to do this before we remove the target. Right, so we say, I just realized this might not work. Okay, there's a reason indexes won't work. Because the indexes change as we remove them. So index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 if we remove index 0 first. So we can't reference the index because the index is going to be different on any given save state. So we're going to have to do this another way. So the only other thing we could really keep track of would be the object name. So let's just run this a second and see if each target has its own individual name, because we could find the object by name, which would be a better way of doing it. Genshin went 50-50 to 50-50, 48. It's still, you know what I mean, it's still the same bullshit system. So far, what I know about WoW's version 1.4 Banner's second phase is that we're getting a double rerun, but that could change the closer we get to the second phase. So, it won't be anytime soon, will it? She's up now. She's not going to get a rerun next week, is she? She's still going to be up. Okay, so there's an issue. The issue is I made targets list because I was worried about, well, I wanted to find that code quickly because I knew the targets were wiping themselves out from the target tracker, and I don't want it to do that anymore because we need the target tracker to know which target was removed. But the way it was set up, it was just keeping an eye on its target count. So it couldn't have known which targets were actually missing. So we can see there are 34 targets. The bad news is every single target game object has the same name. Okay, but the game is going to inherit the targets in the same order every single time on instantiation. So what we can do is we can give each of these targets a serial number on instantiation. So let's do that. So here, where we say for each transform child in target root, get target child, get component target child, add get target, we need to say get target dot name equals, and if we do an int index, we'll start it at 1. And then make sure we increment index. So let's run that. So now each target should get added to the list and renamed at the same time. So they should all end up with individual names, unique names, which is what we need in order for this to work. Okay, so there you go. We've got target 1 all the way to 34. So now we can find a target by its name. Okay. Hang on a second. Right, so when a target is hit, this is when a target is hit. When a target is hit, we're going to say key pairs value equals itself plus a comma. Let's use hashes. I prefer. I don't know whether Cloud Code supports hashes actually. We'll use commas. Value plus target, which is the target that was hit, dot name. The problem is, if this is our first target, we will be adding a comma to nothing and then our name, meaning the start of our comma separated value will be null, which is bad. So instead, if we say if get pairs save pairs 5 dot value is nothing, or we'll even include null, then we want to slightly change this so that we don't include the first comma. So we just say target name. So if this is our first value, store the value on its own. If it is any subsequent values, another way we could have done it is we could have said add this name, add itself plus this name plus a comma, and then what we'd end up with is a comma at the end with nothing at the end, but we could just look for like an empty entry at the end and just, you know, bear that in mind. But it should, that should keep it all nice. Now we're not doing anything yet, we're not saving that data, although we could. It's pretty straightforward to do. What we then do is we just enable that game object, because the game object is instructed, has been programmed to upload its data contained within to the server, because we tested it with that key pair. All right, so let's test to make sure that's working. So we logged in with UID4. If we go to our key pairs, if I can find them. Here. City targets. Okay, city targets has no value. If we hit a target, now city targets says city target 2. Saved player data, key city targets with value city target 2. So let's check the dashboard and make sure that happened. Should have done. There we go. City targets, city target 2. Perfect. So let's just hit a bunch of targets and then we'll check to see, make sure everything's updating properly and it can keep up. There might be a, I'm worried it's going to do like a, too many requests or something and block me. So I'm going to actually try and speed run this to make sure that it's robust enough for what we want. Yeah, I'm not seeing any too many requests or anything like that. Which is good news. If we did, then we could come up with a different structure that basically like auto saves or something every whatever we want, 5 minutes or something like that. Seems fine. We didn't get any. I haven't seen any too many requests or anything like that. And I'll make sure that doesn't. Make sure that hitting a previously saved target doesn't try to save it again. Yeah, everything seems fine. Actually, quite impressed with that. Oh shit, it did. Okay, that's bad. Okay, so we need to make sure that the target that we're saving doesn't get added twice. Because at the moment that's happening. So what did we just hit? It'll be whatever's last. Yeah, also I might abbreviate these city target numbers because like that's quite a long string. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it is quite a long string. So 34 was probably already hit previously. Yeah, it was. So before we go ahead and save the data, we need to make sure that the count actually changed. So we can fix that by saying int current count equals targets.count. Okay. So what we need to do is store the string before we remove it, otherwise we lose it. So string target name equals, and then we can really target name is target.name, right? And then we should remove the target before we try and save any data. And then we can say if targets dot count is less than current count, then go ahead and save the data. Otherwise, we're just hitting the same target again. So we don't want to save that again. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah. And I might abbreviate those names because they are a bit long. I might just call them CTAR. City target. Alright, so let's delete the cloud data. There we go. And test it again and make sure that hitting the same target twice doesn't save the data twice like it was. Okay, so I'm going to try and be methodical about this. In the street that we start off in, so we can see if this is working or not. In the street that we start off in, there's a road with a building at the end, right? It's like to the left of the fountain. So the road left of the fountain. I'm going to go get those targets. So first of all, let's hit the one target. Make sure it saves, which it should have done. A clear debug. And we can see the data is there, CTAR2. I'm going to hit it again and make sure that we don't get another notification that data was saved. Good. Okay, it is showing... Oh, it is counting. It's counting them as being hit, though. Okay, so it's still not right. Yeah, so... the first thing we need to do is remove target and get the name, I guess. That should keep the reference, but just in case. So the first two things we'll do is we'll store the current count, then we'll store the name, and everything else that happens only wants to happen after removing the target and checking to make sure that count is now less than it was before we removed the target. Because if the target was already removed, then the count should remain the same. Okay, I think that'll be fine. So again, let's just delete that data for now. All right. Apricot. All right, let's do it. Value C target 2. Let's just clear debug. Hit that one again and make sure it doesn't register any kind of progress or save any kind of data. Good, because it's already hit. Good. Now let's do this one. There we go. Now we're storing two targets that we hit. And just for good measure, I'll do these ones on the corner as well of the same road. Okay, so now I've decided I've had enough for today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and play some more of this. I log on and I should get those targets in my player data. So let's check it. Oh. Oh yeah, there it is. It was hidden. I was like, wait, where were we not asking for like all keys? I thought we were. Okay, so there we go. We can see we have a key called City Target, CTAR2, CTAR3, CTAR6, and CTAR5 in that order. So what we now need to do is check our tracker should take this data. So we should probably make a load data in function in our tracker. So here's what we should do. Probably. Our target tracker knows what to do with these. However, it certainly knows where the targets are. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I think we should do. Normally, the target is responsible for dirtying its own texture. So we are going to need to teach the target tracker about the snowy texture, right? So I gave it a name, actually. So let me just find city targets. There it is, target mat splat. I like to keep things consistent, so we'll give it the same name. Target mat splat. God damn it. Okay, so we'll assign that, and then we're going to write a public function so I'm going to call load state. Okay, so load state is going to take the player data for itself, which is a key pair of data, right? So it's a key val which I'll call data pair. Okay, so we're going to pass, when we load player data, we're going to pass this data pair. Let me just bring it up again. I want to bring it up, but I'm... There it is. So this data pair here, city targets, which is also now in... Where is it? Our little objects of data pairs. There we go, city targets. Now we're not actually loading them in there, which we need to, right? Because if we started playing now, so we also need to load them in there as well. But that's not this script's job. I'm kind of working backwards here. So what I'm doing is I'm working from like, what do I want the game to look like? And then I'm going to move back to like where it meets the load data structure. I don't know why. That's just the way I'm doing it. Sometimes it's fun to work backwards. Sometimes it's fun to work forwards. This time it feels like it's right to work backwards for some strange reason. Okay, so we're going to load the state from a key value of data pairs. So we don't really need the key. We already know the key's ours, right? Because the load system isn't going to pass it the wrong data pair. So all we really need is the list of keys from it, right? So what we can do is we can say declare a string which is get vals, and get vals wants to equal data pair dot value. Okay, so now we have the values that were sent to us in the data pair. Then we want to say string array split vals equals get vals dot split using the comma separated delimiter. So now what we have is an array of values separated by a comma. So we should probably say for each string get val in split vals. So get val is a name. We know that get val is a name of a target. So I'm going to write a function here because we don't know where it's going to be in that list, right? I mean, we should, to be fair, we should know where it is in the list because we're only probably going to load the state at the start of the game, but maybe not. Maybe we'll add an option in the menu so that the player can load a different account like midway through the game if they want to. So let's just make it robust anyway. I'm probably going to write a function basically. So what we need to do is figure out, well, what do we need from here? Well, we need to find get val by name in targets list. So we'll write a function for that. Otherwise it's going to get clunky and we're going to have a loop inside of a loop inside of a loop and whatever else. So we'll just write a function for it. So we'll make a void function. A void, which is a function, essentially. So we're going to do void get index. That's fine. And we're going to take a string of target name in here. And actually what we can do is we can make this not a void, we can make an int, an integer function. So we're going to say int return index equals -1 for now, and return index, just so that it stops crying about, oh, it's not returning anything. And if it ever returns -1, we'll get a null reference, which we want, because it means that something went horribly wrong. So that's why I like to do that. All right, then what we can do is we want to say for each target in targets, if target dot name is target name, then we know we found the correct index, but we don't know what the index is right now because we're not counting any indexes. We could say return index equals index of, hang on, how do you do index of? You know, let's just count. It's fine. There is a way to do that, but I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what it is. We'll just say index equals 0. I'm putting it in the wrong place here. Before we run through that loop, int index equals 0, increment index by 1 if it doesn't meet those conditions, and then we can say return index equals index and break. Okay, so what that will do, it will take a target name, it will iterate through the list of targets. If the target name matches, it will set the return index to index, and then we'll return index. So here we can say int get index equals get index, and our name is get val. It hates it. Well, wait, it's probably because I used the same. There we go. Okay, get index. So int get index with a capital G equals small get index using get val as the target name. So now we've got the index of the target. We can do what we would do when we were removing them, right? So we need to look at this and see what we're doing. We probably should separate this out as a separate function or whatever, but it's fine. So I'm going to say numComplete ++, just to make sure that things are good as well. Like I say, in case we do load from some obscure, let's set these to their defaults. So every time we fuck with something here, we want to set them to their defaults. So actually, that's a good point, actually. We should probably clear the list and then run awake. Just to be safe. Okay, that way what we'll do is we'll treat it like it's a brand new game, right? So we'll go through, we'll find all the targets at the target root, we'll change all their names to what we expect. Then we know the indexes are correct. We know everything is where it's supposed to be. Targets I'd get target, original count equals targets dot count. Yeah. But we reset numComplete to 0. Okay, so the next thing we do is we set achievements and we activate the achievement notification. Actually, we don't want to do that if you think about it, right? Because we don't want to show, when the player loads a new game, we don't want to say, oh, target 1 of 37, 2 of 37, 3 of 37, 4 of 37, and especially if they cleared them all, right? It's like that would just be confusing. It's like, what the hell? I hit those 6 months ago. Why are you telling me about them now? So we don't actually want to notify the player in this version, because they already got notified when they hit the target. So save pairs equals save pairs. This is saving the data. Now we already know, we don't need to do this either because we already know the data is up to date. So literally this is all we have to do. We have to go, we have to remove the, this is important. Yeah. Int current count equals targets.count. Target name equals that. Targets remove target. So we need to remove the target. Now we can remove at index. We're gonna need to remove the index, so we can say remove at get index. And that's how we're gonna have to do it here. Yeah, so that's basically all we're doing, is we're just counting how many targets have been hit, which is num complete plus plus. How's project going so far? Yeah, it's fine. And then we remove it. We remove the target from the list because it's already been essentially collected, right? We already know the player data is up to date because we're loading it from a loaded state, or we will be. So that's basically it. That's all we have to do. That's it. That's the entire thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the entire thing. So we have saved data, right? If we refresh, that's why I hit those ones down the road. Oh, there was, yeah, but we're not done yet. We can't quite test it. Yep, so we hit 1, 2, 3, 4 targets. So we should see 4 targets that are hit. Oh, there is something else I forgot to do. Yes, I remember now. Snowy texture. We need to put the snowy texture on as well. So we need to get the target. Okay. So we can actually just, this would be better actually, if we just say target, get target equals targets at pathological liar. No, it's not pathological liar. Okay. And then we can just remove get target then, which would be a little bit cleaner. But before we remove to get target, we can say get target, get component, mesh renderer. Let's just make sure that that's where the mesh renderer lives. It does. Material equals, what did I call it? Target matsplat. So really, what we should also do, although I might just put this in a wake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two things here, since we call awake anywhere. I'm going to put these at the top of awake. And then I'm also going to, just to make sure, because there's no reason not to, after we add all of the targets, I'm going to, for each, I could do it here, targets, add, get target. Yeah, I'm also going to say get target, get components, mesh renderer, material equals target mat, which we haven't declared yet. Because it's better to be safe than sorry, right? If we're changing textures in here, then we should also be restoring textures in here, right? So again, right, if you're, I don't know, maybe this is your favorite, maybe this is your favorite game in the whole wide world or whatever, and you just want to sit and play it all day and jump in and out of accounts all day long. So you're literally just, you know, you're loading. We should allow that. So yeah, I'll probably do an option. There'll probably be an option to like log into a different account midway through the game, and then that way we know that everything's taken care of. and everything gets reset before it then gets loaded and then gets changed again. So that should be it. We go and put the mat splats. We call awake first. Awake now returns the mats to what they should be. So that's that part of it. That's not the whole thing though. We still need to link up the load. So when we load the player data now, a couple of things we need to do. So let's make sure that that script knows about those materials. So there's target mat. There's mat splat. Beautiful. Now in our load function, exceeded limit for input throughput. Nice. I always knew I was good at games. If anyone was going to break that throughput limit, it was going to be me. Right, let's see. What are we doing? So back in our load cloud. So when we load this city targets in, and we load player data, so our cloud system now needs to know about our city target system, right? So it needs a target tracker. I'm probably going to put this in a separate function, to be completely honest. All right, we know this is working. That seems like something that should be debugged though. A lot of these debugs are left over from like testing and stuff because it was a bitch to set this up. Okay, that seems fine. So we load the data, and then after we've loaded the data, key value pairs clear, we add the key value pairs in. I think we should just put it at the end of this because it is part of load data really. So here we can do our checks, right? So we can say key value pairs. What is key value pairs? A list of key vals. So we're going to have to do it by key vals. There we go. For each key val pair in key value pairs, if and we can structure this now, if pair dot key equals city targets, do what we need to do for city targets. So we're going to say target tracker, and we call the public function load state, and we just give it the pair because we programmed it to take the pair and it doesn't like the pair. I thought we took a key val cloud dot what argument cannot convert cloud dot key val to key val Okay, because one is a custom class. Oh, you motherfucker. So I'm going to have to convert it. Okay, if I have to convert it, then I'll need to do, I should do that at the top. But we already declared it as a custom class type of key val. What if we just take the value instead? I'm not sure how I would convert that, because as far as I can see, it's already in the class type that it needs to be in. So I'm a little confused about the distinction between... I understand that Jibity set it up in a slightly different way so that I could see the values in the inspector, but I'm not quite sure what the distinction is between my public keyval class and the way it serialized them for the inspector, or how to go about converting between the two. So instead, if I take a string and I'll call it key value, and then now we can just say that equals key value. There we go, it's happy now. It's a good job I know what I'm doing. Right. Okay, key val pair in key value pairs. Okay, so if pair.key is city targets, then target tracker load state, and we pass the pair's value to the city targets function. The city targets function now goes and does everything it does with the city targets. So we know that's good. We also want to find the cloud. This is where things get a little bit hairy, because I don't know where the clouds... This is where things get a lot hairy, actually. Because we have a list of pairs that I also need to update through a list. The problem is, I don't know if it's going to be initialized in time or not. I guess we'll find out. So we already know that it's going to be at index 5, isn't it? I should put the index numbers on here as well, because that's kind of important. Unless I want to put some function for like finding. Oh, we made it so that it has to be the same name as well, didn't we? Oh, fuck. So if I rename these, it's fine. I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is index 5. I thought it was. So if I say... So this already has access to save pairs. So we want to say save pairs. Is it that one? Field. It's the one that's all lowercase, because I used it as an address. Yeah, it is that one. Because I used that as like a URL type address thing. It's this weird thing that I like to do. Don't question it. Right. Save pairs. Save pairs. Hey, it keeps me right, okay? Whatever keeps me right. Save pair, right? What are we doing? Save pairs at index 5. We don't need to change its key name because its key name will be correct already. We just need to set its values. So its value equals pair.value. That looks right to me. Why is it saying it's wrong? Can I apply indexing with square brackets to an expression of type save pairs? That's correct, because we need to access its list. What's its list called? I forget. Save pairs. Wow, what a great name for a list. I wonder who came up with that. Such a good name. What am I doing? Remember when I said it keeps me right? How did I put the square brackets outside of the number? I don't even know how I did that. Is that a small value? There we go. Now it's happy. Jesus Christ. Okay, the only thing I'm concerned about is whether... Because I do everything by transform route. So it's like, will that script have run by this time? Will it know where... Well, if it hasn't, we'll get an index out of range. It's as simple as that. And I think that's it. I think we're done for city targets. Yay. Let's test it. We might get an out of range. If we get an out of range, it's because... Yeah, here we go. No reference. Wait, what is all this? Oh, it's trying to reconnect. Wait, what is happening? Ooh. Oh, did I forget to link it? That's funny. That's funny. There we go. I always forget the dumbest stuff. Oh, I forgot to open the door before I walked through it. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. Alright, let's do it. It's happy, it's fine. So now we should, if everything worked correctly, yes! Look at that! Motherfucker, how fucking good is that? So if we look at the other targets, they should all be normal. But if you look down the road there, at the ones, I didn't realise there was one there. I obviously couldn't see it for that van. Didn't realise there was one hiding behind the van. But we got this one earlier, right? We got this one earlier. And we got this because I said we'll get the ones on the ends as well. And it's restored all of those. And we can see that the data is correct. CTAR 2, 3, 6, and 5. So now let's just make sure it's... Right, there's one closer to the ice cream van on the left. We'll get that one. I can't see why it wouldn't work. Alright. Now at the moment we're not saving player position or anything like that. So we are still back to the character select screen. But you know, it's just because I haven't gotten that far yet. But we can see that city targets are now synchronized with the server. They're restored automatically when we continue our game. There we go. And hopefully this extra one should now be snowy to show that we already hit it. Make sure we can't score that again. Good. Good. How'd you like it? How'd you like it? Do you like that? Do you like that? Do you like it? I do. I love it. So good. Alright, so we just need to do that with everything else in the game, basically. Oh, we just need to do that 100 more times and we'll be done. That's all. See you next decade. Nah, it's not that bad. I mean, we just did targets in like a couple of hours. It's not really that bad. And now snowmen are practically the same. I just need to change some names. And we have systems and methods now to do this stuff, right? So it's really not that bad. And then all we're going to do is record player position. We'll update player position, obviously, every time we save. Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. I don't know how, since I'm doing this. See, normally, the way I normally do save data is it's always in one big file, right? And I just stick it all together. So if I was updating those targets, I would automatically be updating the player position. But because we're doing key val pairs instead, I'm not sure what to do about player position. Maybe I won't save player position because maybe it doesn't really make sense, because like it's only going to be when it happened to save last anyway. I don't know. It depends how I want it to work, right? I can make it work however I want. I could just have a starting point like next to Miku, for example, where every time you continue a saved game, your character's like stood next to Miku, and you're like, oh, okay. It's not exactly a big game, right? Yet. Wait till the end of January. So it's up to me how I want to do it. I won't worry about it right now. I think the best thing to do is to get everything else in first and keep playing and building the game, and then I'll probably start to get a feel of how it should work, right? It's like, what would be best for the player? Is there somewhere in the map that would be good to just put them every time? Or should we auto-save position like every 5 minutes or every time status changes? Or, you know, how exactly should that work? I'm not sure right now. Yeah, I'm not sure right now. But there you go. Our targets are up to date. Were our numbers right as well? I think so, yeah. 7 of 34 sounds about right, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, these don't... I don't think they update... Yeah, no, this was loaded data. Yeah, so I shouldn't be looking at this. This was loaded data from the server. So the live data... To be completely honest... Do I update these ones? I must do, because these are the ones that... Yeah, these are the ones that save directly to the server, so these ones have to be kept up to date. Because these are the ones that like literally upload to the server whenever they're enabled. It's a pretty good way of doing it, actually. I'm definitely getting a good grasp of how to best manage object-oriented things. It took me a long time to get here, but it's definitely worth it. I think this is a pretty good solution. I'm quite pleased with it. That's fucking nuts. Yeah, so there you have it. That's basically saved data through the cloud. And so, just, you know, like I say, we just need to do that with Missing Snowman. Basically everything that I listed in this text file, right? So we've got a clear outline of what we need and where it needs to go. Game settings, I haven't really started working on menus for that yet, but we'll get there. Player character, yeah, I shouldn't be asked to select my character again when I'm continuing a game. It should be the same character that I picked previously. My opponents need to be in the same order and my best friend, right? So that's from that list of opponents. Position, again, I'll figure that out. Position and rotation, I have no idea. No idea, because you don't really you don't really exit a Unity web game like you do a normal build. But even normal builds, some people just Alt F4 out of it anywhere. So it's a bit of a tricky one. You could auto save every couple of minutes, but like, would it really mean anything? And the downside of saving position is there is a super downside to saving position, and that is if the player manages to somehow like fall off the map and you haven't programmed some failsafe for that, they end up stuck in some really obscure, you know, between two colliders and they can't get out. If you record that position and reset it again on the next load, then essentially they've lost their entire game. They can't get out of it. But if you just reset them at a, you know, like my example that they could be stood next to Miku or whatever every time they load in, somewhere that you know is safe, you know, somewhere that you know is open and safe, then okay, worst case scenario, if they happen to fall off the map and we haven't programmed some failsafe for that, which I haven't right now, by the way. Then one of the risks of recording position is if oh no, somehow I fell through the map. And now it auto saves, right? And we load that position in. Game over. Forever. till I make a new account or start a new game, I guess. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? But if we just pick some safe place. I mean, to be fair, I'll probably code something around that, right? I can code like I can detect if the player falls off the map and then just put them back here or whatever. It's easy enough to do. I probably will do that at some point. But yeah, my game's still good because I didn't load position falling from fallen off map. So I'm back in the game. Hitting targets like a pro. God damn, this game makes you feel... This game does make you feel like a pro. It's almost impossible not to hit a target. I don't know how I managed to make that so good. Well, I do. Watch the stream if you want to see it. I literally recorded... Okay, that one missed. It's so good. I wish all games were this good. God, am I literally sucking my own trumpet or something? Yes, that's the saying. Sucking one's own trumpet. Oh, I missed that one. No, but like it is like the aiming is fucking phenomenal. It's so good. It makes you feel so good, so skilled. Even though it's kind of brain dead, really. But I love how brain dead it is. It's super satisfying. Like, even I'm surprised by how satisfying that actually feels. I'm like, holy shit, why does that feel so good? It really does, though. It's super fun. So, man, once I put some, like, enemies and stuff in the game, and we have some, like, silly little mini games where you're actually throwing it to, like, aiming at moving targets and stuff. I think it's going to feel great. It's going to feel so fun. It's going to be amazing. Because if it feels that good just running around hitting targets, then holy shit, I think I'm onto something. Yeah, there's just something about this game that's just like, it's just... Wow, it's really surprising me how well it's come together. Like, holy shit, everything about it just feels great. Like this... And a lot of it is just luck, I'll be honest. Like, everything fits, though. Like, these models. Like, I saw these models and I was like, okay, yeah, they're cute. Can I use them? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. Let's see if we can find some kind of low poly city. Oh, look at that. A low poly city. And it just fits. Everything fits so perfectly together. And I'm like, wow. Okay, how did that happen? I mean, I'll take some credit, right? Like, it's taken 12 years of Unity experience to get to this point. I wouldn't have been able to make this game as good as this, God, probably even a year ago. So I think it's taken this level of experience to be able to put this together as quickly and as, I don't know, tightly as I have, you know? But yeah, some of it is definitely luck, right? Some of it's just like, holy shit, like that actually works really well. And sometimes it's like, you know, like, you know, if it wasn't for this model existing on Sketchfab and me finding it and stuff like that, and these characters and stuff like that, then, you know, this wouldn't be quite as good as it is. So, like, some of this, I can't take all the credit, you know what I mean? Some of it is down to just bloody luck and the amazing fact that people are sharing stuff online and making great stuff. What I like about this city as well is I feel like I could model this city if I took the time to model a city like this. Because, like, it is all very, very basic flat shapes, which is why performance is so good. Check out the performance on this, by the way. This is insane. It's so good. 300 FPS. It's just like a consistent, somewhere between 220 and 300 FPS. Like, and there's no LOD. That's just this game running with a little bit of occlusion culling. I haven't even begun to really try and optimize it at all. It's just, you know, in its sort of clump things together state right now. But my god, it's like, it just runs like butter. It's so great. And that's another thing that I think is so good, like so lucky. Like a lot of that is lucky, right? Because yeah, you could, like, it's hard finding something that works well as a game world for free on Sketchfab that's also this low poly and fits the theme so well. Like, how the hell did I get this lucky? That's what I mean. It's so lucky. That's where I know I'm lucky, right? How did I get so lucky to find this cool little city that somebody's sharing for free, that's so low poly and makes the game run so well, that feels so good to be in as a game world? You know what I mean? All the stars are aligned. It's crazy. Like, I can't take credit for that, right? I just happen to find it and download it and use it. And obviously, you know, I'm still having to... I'm going to have to block it all out with colliders and, you know, I've scaled it and positioned it and, you know, retextured some things. The hot dog van is a reskin of the ice cream van. Up there. But yeah, I'm freaking loving this game. One thing's for sure. So normally what I do when I'm working on a game, I normally get to a point where I'm either burnt out or I'm just so sick of the sight of it. We'll see. But I don't know. I think it's also because I only get till the end of January, right? So this can't go on forever. If I'm using this as an entry for the showcase. But yeah, like, something tells me that, like, I bet I'm gonna miss this game, like, when I can't work on it anymore. Like, when my time's up or whatever. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I don't want to stop working on this game. It's too fun. Because so far it is. I'm having so much fun working on it. It's super fun to test and play. Oh no! How is that last stretch so hard? It doesn't look hard. It's so weird. Oh, now I've got bloom though. It's making it a little bit. It's making it quite hard to see the path. I might need to turn that down a bit. I don't know, maybe it adds to the difficulty. It's not so bad when you're facing this way, I don't think. You can see the path easier this way. But when you're walking back, for some reason when you're walking back along this path, it sort of it all blurs out. Ah! It goes from like no momentum at all to like freaking Nigel Mansell snowball. Which makes it hilarious. But it does seem kind of inconsistent. Too fast! Too fast! Come back! Come back! No! Ah! This is my easy. This is the easy course. I'm gonna make three courses for this mini game. And this is the easiest of the three. Imagine what the freaking third one's going to be like. It's going to be insane. Okay, I should stop throwing snowballs at it so it doesn't go too fast. camera kind of glitches when you jump against the snowball a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Don't go too far left. No, this is why it always... Oh, it's that hill. It's pushing it up that hill. Every time. You can't help but push it past the hill, and then you can't catch up with it. You just can't catch up with it because it's just like it's going. What the hell? Oh my god, it's too hard. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know whether it's a good idea to start with this minigame or not, because it's like this minigame is actually kind of brutal. Maybe this should be like the last thing that you play. Because otherwise too many people will rage quit and not see the rest of the game. They'll be like, oh, that fucking snowball. Yeah, I do think maybe this shouldn't be the first minigame, actually. Just because it happens to be the first one I made. Oh no, you dare go down there. Oh my god, it gets so hard because it's so big. It's so hard. That's so fun. It's fun though when you do it. Like when you, that felt so good getting that through the finish line. Yeah, that's actually it's kind of cool actually. It always feels, yeah, it always feels like really like, wow. When you finally get it at the finish line. I don't know, there's something like, I think because it is just kind of awkward. So by the time you get it there, it's like, oh, you know, you're like, oh, full of jittery beans. You know what I mean? That feeling you get, that like, oh, I know what I mean. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I'm talking nonsense now. Sometimes having a favourite game can be quite difficult to decide on since there's plenty of games out there, including the new gacha games. Well, who says you have to pick a favourite? Right now, this is my favourite game. It genuinely is. Like, I am actually loving this game so much. It's not even finished yet. I don't know. I really think this game has immense potential. I think I just need to make sure I don't like screw anything up. And I think this is going to be a really, really, really good fun game. As long as I don't mess anything up too badly. And there's a lot of places you can mess things up, right? I'm not worried about the technical side of things, right? I think I'm down. I think I've got that down now. I think I've reached a point now where technically, this stuff is like, you know, in the bag. But games are more than just technical creations, you know. There's a lot of, I don't know. There's something kind of weird about them. It's like music, right? It's like a good song. What makes a good song? Like, you can't really point to a song and say, oh, well, it's because this note next to this note with this note and this note, you know, it adds up to a good sum of notes. Like, it doesn't work like that. So songs are just good and you just know and you hear it. And it's like, games are a bit like that. It's like, you get into a game, on paper a game can be great, but when you get into it, it's like just boring, or I don't know. And then other games can be like clunky and janky, like, you know, like Snowbreak or whatever, right? You can have this game that's not very well polished, and it's, you know, you look at it from a technical point of view and it's a bit of a, you know, hodgepodge, and it's has no right to be as fun as it is, but there's something just so fun and engaging about it. I feel like this is a really nice at the moment, but that's the bit that I've got to watch out for, right? It's like I need to make sure I'm finding things that are fun to do in here. But so far, everything that's in here is looking very promising and very fun. But I need to make sure there's enough stuff. And I might not want to start with that snowball race, to be honest. But this ain't bad as well, actually. Like this, now that I've, it's not finished yet. It needs some more work. But this feels pretty good. I think it takes a little too long to get fast, though. Oh, this thing's, yeah, it's so weird, right? This thing keeps, I don't know what's causing it. It'll intermittently just like stop working, and it'll intermittently start working again. I don't know what the hell is causing it. It's gotta be like physics related or something. Yeah, the targets just aren't moving anymore. It's so weird. I don't know if they're like stuck, because they've got like physics on them, so maybe they're like getting stuck in there or something. It's so weird. But when the lights are on, the lights are controlled by the speed of the targets that are moving, right? And those lights are getting faster all the time. So like all the code's running, but it's like something about the physics of the targets. It's stuck again. So yeah, it definitely needs some work. But when it's working, it's pretty fun. But even the ones at the top are... Wait, is there another collider? It feels like there's another collider there. Is some collider stopping them from coming out? What is that collider that's stopping me from jumping here? Something's stopping me from jumping. Hang on a minute. Player, where are you, player? There you are. Okay, how can I find you? Does that have a collider on it? Yeah, but it's turned off. Back's got a collider on it. Can't imagine that would be stopping them. It's so weird. Base has got a collider. But the base is here and the targets are in here, so it's not that. I just fell through the base. I fell through the base. Am I stuck now? Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm actually stuck. Oh, did I fall through the map? No, I fell through the map. Damn it! Yeah, I don't know why these targets won't move. It's so weird. They work until they don't. Very strange. Wait. No, we can see. Look, we can see the audio components are moving. What the fuck is happening? So which one's got the audio component on then? Where the hell is the audio component? Oh, SFX? Okay, so SFX, these are the things that are moving right now, but we don't see their... Oh, wait, at the... Oh, target center, that is. So the mesh renderers are turned on. Well, we can see them. They're stuck down here. What is happening? I am so confused. I don't know what's happening. I'll take another look at this later. It's so weird though, right? Because like the icons for the audio component are moving up and down. I'm so confused. But none of these values are moving on the parents. This is these that we move. I'd have to look at the script again, actually. Oh wait, are these the city targets? Oh, that's why. I'm an idiot. I'm looking at the wrong targets. I'm looking at the wrong targets. These are the targets around the city. They're the ones on the lampposts. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong targets. Ba -ba -ba -ba. Shooting gallery targets. Gallery targets. These are the ones. There you go. We can see them moving. Audio component is here. Right, if I turn is kinematic off. Where is the... I'm so confused. What is that? A collider that I'm looking at? So the collider for the object is moving. This isn't another Unity 6 bug, is it? God, I hope not. Oh man, I can't let anything wreck this game right now. It's probably not. It's probably not. But it is weird. What does it say? Combined mesh root scene 2. What? Yeah, I really don't know what's happening to these. So bizarre. The only thing I can think is I was a bit lazy when I set this up, and I used the same hanging target on the same hinge when I was putting it together for these ones. And then I saw that they were like wobbling a bit, and I thought, well, that looks good actually. I quite like that. So I kept it. But there's clearly problems. Where's my script? Oh, the script's on here now, isn't it? So every other one is either a top or a bottom. So these are obviously the bottoms. So what happens if I move those now? Also, where the hell is it saying the center is for those? Okay, it's saying it's there. Ah, that's interesting. So they won't move right now, even though that script's off. Is that physics that's causing that? Probably. I bet this has got something to do with it. So if I'm trying to move them now manually and it won't let them move. Well, that's even weirder. That's why I feel like this might be a bug. That's even weirder. I move the parents up. And only the colliders and the audio source moves, which is one of the children. Yes, that must mean the parent is restricted in somewhere. What the fuck is happening? I feel like it might have something to do with this hinge joint. Disconnect the hinge joint. What is happening? So, but the targets are still there. This is what I mean, right? So it must be these that. So these are the targets. Oh, these won't do anything. Rigid body. Constraints. No constraints. I don't know. I need to look at that. Something weird going on. If it comes down to it, I might just have to remove the hinge joints. Because I need to see what would happen if I just make them solid objects. Just make them, you know, like standard mesh objects or whatever and move them up and down. It's a shame because I kind of like the sort of rocky, floppy impact type thing that you got from it. But if the thing breaks like that, then obviously you wouldn't even be able to progress. You could progress through the game because that's such an early game as well. That's like the tutorial. Yeah, I need it needs to be reliable. It needs to work. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there for now. I will be back on probably tomorrow now. It's getting dark. It is dark. I must return to my coffin. Yeah, I'm feeling good about things. It's probably a good idea to test all that in the web, to be completely honest. But I'll get around to that. All right, I'll leave it there. Bye.